Today is Christmas, and that means you've probably already seen about 100 different videos about Hallmark movies and how bad they are. You've probably heard all the common criticisms, they're all the same, the writing is bad, there's no diversity, etc, etc. So it might surprise you to hear that one of Hallmark's biggest stars actually departed the network due to a disagreement over what some believed was too much diversity. I know, shocking when a studio's entire Christmas lineup looks like this. But that's exactly what happened when Candace Cameron Bure left Hallmark after 14 years to join a new rival network. This was the start of a Christmas civil war. Now, if you don't know, Hallmark is infamous for putting out entirely too many Christmas movies every year. Most of them follow the same sort of story. Someone lets go of a big city job in order to live a simple life with someone that they just met. And when I say too many, I mean it. They've made 136 Christmas movies since 2008 alone. The star of many of those movies has been none other than Candace Cameron Bure. You may know her from her role on Full House and the newly rebooted Fuller House. She plays DJ Turner. You may know her brother as noted Dogman and evolution denier Kirk Cameron. Bure starred in over 20 movies for the Hallmark Channel before her contract expired at the end of 2021. At the end of that year, she was given the position of Chief Content Officer at what is now known as Great American Family by an old friend of hers, Bill Abbott. Bill himself was the president and CEO of Crown Media, Hallmark's parent company, until about January 2020. He stepped down amid backlash he faced for removing a Zola ad from the network for featuring a lesbian couple. He was picked as the new president and CEO of GAC Media, a company that would later go on to acquire channels like Great American Country and Ride TV. Hell yeah, yeehaw brother. They would also go on to acquire the Christian streaming service PureFlix. Fun fact about Great American Family, they actually hired Lori Loughlin, college admissions criminal, whenever Hallmark let her go for paying off school officials to get her children into college. Now that that's all out of the way, we can talk about why Candace Cameron Bure left Hallmark in the first place. While she officially states she left simply because her contract had expired and GAF shared her desire to promote faith programming and good family entertainment, her departure occurred shortly after Hallmark began featuring LGBTQ storylines in their programming. In fact, when asked if her new network would feature same-sex couples in the same way that Hallmark's had begun to, Bure responded by saying, "I think that Great American Family will keep traditional marriage at the core." Now, of course, she walked back these comments in a lengthy statement posted to her Instagram, in which she states she has great love and affection for all people. But here's the problem. We all know what she meant by that. There's not much that sets me off more than people who say hateful things and then try and play the plausible deniability game after the fact. Because the people who agree with you know what you're trying to say, right? That's why you're trying to say it. Look at the comments of this post. Everyone there is saying they're all so proud of you for speaking your truth and standing up for what you believe in. And the people who disagree with you, certainly the ones you're targeting, all get the message too. You don't want them to like you anyway, so I don't know why you're pretending to be everyone's friend when the people you're targeting are never going to believe you, and the people who agree with you would love you even more if you just said the quiet part out loud. But anyway, I thought it would be interesting to see what Candace Cameron Bure has been up to since she left Hallmark and compare her last Hallmark movie that she was in to her first Great American Family movie. That way we can see if she really is telling stories that have more meaning and purpose and depth behind them or not. So Candace's last Hallmark movie is titled The Christmas Contest. It was released at the end of 2021 and man does it stink out loud. I watched this movie on a flight into New York, so my flight was pretty bad. Probably not the worst flight into New York of all time, probably not even the second, but definitely top 3. So in the opening scenes of this movie, they're going to try and equate the meaning of Christmas to the meaning of life.
The real question isn't what's the meaning of life, but rather, how do I give my life more meaning? And then Christmas comes with all the answers.
This will not be the last time you hear this, although be prepared for it to not pay off in any meaningful way because they really don't know what to do with this. So here we meet Laura Cottridge, COO at a consulting firm, who's reminded early on that the people who work for her are not her friends.
It is an honor working with all of you. And as you know, I'm so grateful to be your colleague, your friend.
Boss.
Yes, thank you for that, Mia.
And Ben Winters, a former MLB MVP who spends most of the movie shilling horrible products and poorly running a baseball camp.
Because nothing says Christmas like beef.
Next, we meet Laura's mom and her friends who are hanging out at a senior center that seems to be in disrepair. She tells Laura about a local TV station's Christmas contest consisting of 4 holiday-themed contests and a $50,000 grand prize to the charity of your choice. Her mom wants her to enter this contest and win the prize so that they can use the money to repair the senior center they all hang out at.
5 Denver locals, along with help from their teams, will compete on air in 4 holiday-inspired events for a chance to win $50,000 to the charity of their choice.
What exactly am I looking at here?
Honey, you are looking at the way that you are going to win the girls and me the money for the senior center.
Which, of all the charities you could donate the money to, I don't know if the senior center that you and your friends just kind of like hang out at is the best use of that money. Like, I know public meeting spaces are important, but also, like, there are kids going hungry in this town, no? I don't know, it just feels like a very selfish way to spend this money that you could win for charity. Also, if Laura's mom wants the prize money, why doesn't she just enter the contest herself? I don't see why you wouldn't be able to compete as an older woman of sound mind. It's not like one of the events is going to be the Iditarod or something like that. Ben is being asked to join the contest as well, even though they can't guarantee him a spot, despite wanting a hometown hero contestant. Now he plans to take this opportunity to promote his gym and all of his bad products, and also use the money for his baseball camp.
I mean, this could be great, right? Just free press for the gym, boost my social, get the word out about my charitable work with the winter session kids, and plus I could plug the jerky.
Now Ben is someone that the movie grossly misrepresents. I just feel like it doesn't make any sense that his character is the way that he is. They portray him as this sleazy guy who will attach his name to anything to make a quick buck, and someone who needs this prize money to keep his baseball camp operational. I don't know if you've heard, but Shohei Ohtani, the AL MVP in the MLB from last year, just signed a contract worth $700 million. That's not to mention all of the big-time sponsors that Shohei has acquired over the years. He just signed a new deal with New Balance, and he's already working with people like Topps and Panini. Either Ben is lying about his MLB success, or the movie has him confused for a career minor leaguer, or maybe like a local college hero who moves back to their college town and opens like a barbecue restaurant because people there still remember his name. Later, Laura's mom comes in as she's crying over receiving some emails.
How? I just checked you an hour ago.
And begs her to do the Christmas contest again. So Laura watches the how-to on how to submit her admission, and we learn that you need an anonymous Christmas handle.
Now, applying for the Christmas contest is as easy as 2 simple steps. 1, create an anonymous holiday-inspired handle.
I see you as Noel it all. Get it?
Oh, I'd be slay the competition. If I were doing it, but I'm not.
Which I know would be a nightmare to sift through in real life, you know. Jingle balls, ho ho ho, Mr. Toes, etc. Actually, you know what? Let me know what your anonymous Christmas handle would be down in the comments below if this were a real contest. We also learned you have to write a full essay with the prompt, "What is Christmas?" Where again, the movie tries to tie in the meaning of Christmas to the meaning of life.
And 2, write a short essay answering the question, what is Christmas?
What is Christmas? What does that even mean?
What's the problem? That seems easy enough.
Are you joking? Answering what is Christmas, I may as well answer what is the meaning of life.
But of course, it doesn't really even know what that means, so Laura struggles to write her essay. But before she gives up, her mom sets all systems to manipulation mode. Talks about how it would be sad if Laura didn't do this, and tells Laura to basically enter the contest and discover the meaning of life, or go back to her yucky office career and be sad all the time.
It was just kind of sad that you're not doing this contest. You used to love Christmas. It meant everything to you. Yeah, I should let you get back to work. Love you.
In the next scene, we meet Ben's grandmother, whose entire personality is that she doesn't want to meet anyone else since her husband died. Regardless, Ben also can't think of what to write for this stupid question until he's reminded of his grandmother's struggles and remembers that Christmas is about being together. Again, something that his grandmother has refused to do with anyone.
All I want for Christmas is for us to be together.
Oh, that's it. That is the answer to the essay question. Christmas is a time to be together. Oh, thank you.
This is treated as a grand revelation by the movie when it really isn't. But now both of our main characters have everything they need to submit their applications. And of course, they both get in with horrible names.
And with 1,000 essays submitted, it was nearly impossible to choose only 5 contestants. Winter's Wonderland. And our final contestant is... Slay the competition!
Now we get into the competition proper, and I have a couple questions before we continue. They say there were 1,000 essays submitted. How long has it been since the contest was announced? How did so many people find enough time to write a whole essay about Christmas in what must be at most a few days? How did the station manage to read and judge all of those essays in the same amount of time? Also, $50,000 is not a small sum of money for a TV station that's local, right? I don't know where they're getting all this money from. And finally, what was the criteria for selection? Because the 2 main characters who got selected will go on to say later in the movie that they totally phoned it in for these essays. How bad were the other essays that a corporate executive and a former baseball player who didn't really even try at all beat out 1,000 other essays? I digress. It's time to meet the other contestants though. So we have our cast of characters for this Christmas contest. The other 3 are not important. They'll be gone before you know it, and really they don't even appear except for to get eliminated. One is clearly some health nut hippie type. Another is literally only referred to as Special Snowflake. And she's what I imagine Candace Cameron Bure convinced the director a typical Denver liberal looks like. And then the last contestant is just some guy, because I guess they ran out of lazy stereotypes to make fun of. But when all the contestants get together for the first time, it becomes apparent that Ben and Laura know each other, and they do not seem to like each other at all.
High fives all around, huh? Yeah. Except for Lara, who leaves me hanging.
Oh no, Ben. You're the one who leaves people hanging.
When it's time for the first event, the 2 are constantly bickering, and it's clear that Laura's only character trait is that she's overly competitive, which is totally enough to carry a main character for an entire movie. The first competition, for which they receive no briefing for, by the way, they're just showing up at the station and all of a sudden they're live on TV. The first event is Christmas trivia, which is not a thing that people know or do or enjoy doing. But these guys are huge nerds about Christmas, and again, they're at each other's throats trying to answer and one-up each other whenever the other one gets the answer in first.
Final question. How far does Santa travel each Christmas?
220 million miles
Giving him with time zones 36 hours to deliver gifts.
at 650 miles per second.
Breaking the speed of light.
Consuming roughly 150 billion calories of cookies and milk.
60,000 times his daily recommended intake.
The host gets mad at them for being loud and excited. Although if I was a producer on this show, I would be so grateful that someone was here to spice up my Christmas trivia segment. Probably because no one on earth knows anything about Christmas trivia, this segment only lasts about 30 seconds. The hippie contestant literally doesn't speak at all in this movie, basically. She doesn't answer any questions, she gets eliminated straight away. I don't know why they put her in the movie. But after the contest is done, the host asks Ben and Laura if they know each other, and it's revealed here that they actually dated in the past for 4 years before they broke up. But despite that, the host asks them to play nice together because his vision for the show, I guess, is all about promoting unity and togetherness in the community. But like, man, this host is a wet blanket because, again, the people who make Love Island would kill for this kind of drama on their show. You're gonna do numbers if you let them get crazy on air. Also, they have talking heads as part of this competition. I guess this contest has just replaced all regular programming on the station until it's complete.
Yeah, Ben and I once dated, but it is not going to be a problem. I am totally chill with him.
I would never describe Laura as chill. That girl is so competitive.
Yeah, I can be a little competitive.
We also hear again just how competitive Laura is, because again, they're going to tell you in these movies, they're not going to show you. And we learn that actually this white executive is relatable because her grandparents were immigrants actually.
My grandparents were immigrants. My mom worked 2 jobs to put herself through school.
But anyway, prior to the next competition, she buys some fancy clothes to be on TV and also to flex on Ben. And this outfit includes some very pointy stilettos that she's going to wear in the baking competition that is the next part of this Christmas contest. Also, for the next challenge, she asks her mom and her 2 friends to be on her team to help her bake whatever it is she's baking. They agree, and now I'm thinking, if you can help in the competition, surely you could have just signed up yourself. And I know her name's not Shirley. And while Laura's there talking to her mom, she gives her 2 cents about her relationship with Ben.
Girls, Laura dating Ben was 4 years of her being treated like she was never good enough. This is her chance to prove that she's not just good enough, she is better.
She describes it as 4 years of Laura being treated like she was never good enough. Now that is a horrible way to describe a relationship that I guess we're supposed to be rooting for by the end of this movie, but I don't know. Maybe they'll find a way to redeem it, but that just seems like a really bad foot to start off on. 4 years of being mistreated is a lot. But back at Ben's gym, the kids are just kind of messing around with plastic bats at the world's worst baseball camp. Considering the MLB player you hired to coach your kids is using all his time to compete in a small local TV contest rather than instruct them on baseball. This kid takes a horrible swing and Ben just says, "That's great," before signing 3 of the kids up to compete in a baking competition instead of, I don't know, leaving them at the facility to work on what their parents paid for them to work on. Ben and Laura meet again on set, and I just gotta say, their banter is not fun at all. It is genuinely annoying, and it doesn't seem good-natured at all. Like, they genuinely seem like they want to hurt each other and get under each other's skin.
Wow. Are you really going to be this competitive about a bake-off?
Oh, this is about more than a bake-off, Ben, and you know it!
And then when they're about to start rolling for the second competition, Laura freaks out because Ben walks in with the boys from his camp that he's brought to be on his team.
Oh, my team!
Hey, Coach Ben.
No. You can't have kids on your team
Oh, really? And why not?
because you're just using them for their adorable factor.
You think it's going to work?
And I just have a couple questions about that, because is this competition based on the cuteness or like audience appeal of your team, or is it based on the quality of your baking? Because if it's the latter, Ben has severely handicapped himself by bringing like 3 preteen boys rather than anyone who has ever baked a cake before. Also, after Laura finishes talking about beating children,
Ben's team is all kids. How am I supposed to beat children?
she learns that one of her team members isn't available, and she asks Ben's grandmother to step in because she's there to watch the contest that Ben is competing in. Ben hesitates initially, but after thinking about how hard it's been for his grandmother to make friends since her husband passed away, he agrees to, encourage her to go join Laura's team. And the last thing, the host makes it clear that you can have anybody on your team. And when Ben looks at Laura's blueprints for her cake, he's very taken aback by it, and she tells him that she's consulted bakers, architects, and project managers to get this design done. And when she says that, I'm just like, why didn't you bring them to the competition then? They could be your team. Why did you bring these older women instead of just bringing professional bakers if that was allowed in the rules? One nice thing in this movie though is how Ben connects with this shy boy named Jace, who's part of his baseball camp. Jace is being raised by his grandmother just like Ben was, and they have this sweet interaction where Ben tries to relate with him on that, and Jace tells him, "No, I know, I already know that. I've seen a lot of your interviews," and it's inspiring to him. And I think that that's a sweet showcase of how it can be good to have people you can relate to look up to whenever you're in a hard situation like that.
Dude, you're a really good baker.
Well, I live with my grandma, so I bake with her a lot.
You know, I was raised by my grandma too.
Yeah, I know. I've heard you talk about it in interviews.
And so I just think that's really well done. I think it's really sweet. But that's enough giving this movie any credit. Ben shows that he's physically incapable of receiving help from others or taking instructions. So he just struggles with his gumdrop bag before spraying them everywhere all over the place, even though Laura told him that's exactly what was going to happen. Now, as they're finishing up their cakes for the competition, Laura, with her pointy stilettos, slips on a gumdrop and crushes her cake, again on live TV. Ben doesn't cutely save her from further embarrassment or, start the healing process where he says, hey, like, I still care about you and I want to make sure you're okay. He just walks over, doesn't even help her up, and then rubs it in her face by saying, no, this isn't the most humiliating moment of your life. This is the most humiliating moment of your life so far.
This is the most humiliating moment of my life.
The most humiliating moment of your life so far.
It's mean. It's a mean thing to do, and it's not helpful for me to see that happen and then you ask me to root for them to be together at the end of the movie. That doesn't make me feel good. So as they're cleaning Laura up, her mom is talking trash about Ben, saying how it's his fault that this happened. Right in front of his grandmother, by the way. And eventually she reveals that she could have entered the contest herself, but she asked Laura to do it because she saw Laura's magic fading and thought that this contest would be a way to help her realize why she loves Christmas and therefore why she loves life, because those are the same in this movie, and rekindle that joy that she had for the season. But also, as her mother, you should know that her only character trait is being overly competitive to the point of being annoying. So I don't know why you thought that this contest, or any contest for that matter, would be something that would be fun for her, knowing how seriously she takes every competition she's in. Now, Laura manages to stay in the competition because Special Snowflake's eliminated for some reason. Her cookie looks 1,000 times better than Laura's smashed log of who knows what. They kind of hand wave this away by saying that like Laura's cake, although it was physically like visually damaged, it was still like moist and tasted good on the inside, I guess. But Special Snowflake's gingerbread cookie is like whole. Like clearly nobody has tried these, or if not like all of them, nobody's tried this one that they just eliminated for no reason. But Laura's one of the main characters. She needs to stay in, so that liberal snowflake's got to go, unfortunately. But after this, Ben and Laura meet at a Christmas festival, and they briefly share a chimney cake like they used to when they were dating.
Sorry, old habits die hard.
No worries. I still don't like whipped cream, and you still obviously like extra.
And this is a cute moment until they just stop showing us cute things and they just start talking about what's good about them, because we haven't really seen anything good up to this point.
You know what? It was easy to remember the bad between us, but chatting back there reminded me of the good. How you could always see right through me, get me talking. How comfortable you could make me feel.
Well, I won't tell if you don't. But yeah, we had something special.
Then they meet the world's horniest Santa, who for no reason asks them to, 1, take a picture with him, 2, kiss him on the cheek as they're taking a picture with him, and then as they lean in to kiss his cheek, he slides back and they kiss each other on accident. So what's that about? I have no idea. This guy wants to watch couples like kiss over his crotch, I guess. That'll get you on the naughty list for sure, Santa. Cool it. And then the tabloids run away with it, whatever. They're rekindling this romance through this contest, blah, blah, blah. The very station that's talking about togetherness and holiday cheers using the photo to boost the ratings anyway, even though they didn't want to engage in the drama before. And while these guys are being interviewed about this fake kiss that Santa instigated for no reason, we learn that Ben left Laura hanging because he's a lone wolf at heart.
Losing her was the biggest regret of my life.
Why did we call it off?
Why did we call it off?
We didn't.
I guess despite a life of team sports, I'm a lone wolf at heart.
Sigma male? Is Ben a Sigma male? If that's true, why is he pursuing Laura now? Also, real quick, one thing that they do so often in this movie is they call each other by their last name, and that is the most millennial cringe thing I think I've seen in a little while. It just drives me up the wall, because who does that in real life? Nobody. Stop it. Get some help. But now it's time for the Christmas Carol competition, which sounds like the worst thing ever. Also, another quick note about Jace. He doesn't seem shy. He seems like sad. Like he is not like reserved. He is like depressed.
This is it, guys. Let's do it. All right, ready?
Yeah.
What's up? You nervous?
I don't know. Maybe a little. I mean, what if I make us lose?
But that's just me, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure the kid who's playing this part is doing his best with what he's given, but I don't think they hit the mark on this character because a lot of his writing is like full on like in the dumps. And in light of that, why are you making Jace do this? He's signed up for a baseball camp and you're making him sing Christmas carols on local TV. Why are you doing this to him? Even though Jace is terrified of going out there because, you know, he paid money to learn how to play baseball and now he is performing on television this horrible routine that they've prepared. Laura loses her mind because they used her second favorite Christmas carol.
We have been scooped by the Bad News Bears. What are we gonna do? Deck the Halls was our song.
We could perform it as well. Oh, are you kidding? Do you hear them? Those kids are ringers from Star Search.
Oh, Mom, you're dating yourself. Why did Ben have to pick this song? He knows it's my second favorite.
Well, maybe he picked it because he was hoping you'd perform your first favorite carol.
Which, for some reason, she had prepared a routine for the second favorite one and not her first. Which, this is just a super contrived way to get us to think, oh, he does remember your favorite and he didn't want to use it. I couldn't tell you my favorite Christmas carol, but like, I certainly don't have a second favorite, that's for sure.
Laura Cartridge and her team, the Jingle Ladies.
We wish you a Merry Christmas.
Do it right.
We wish
Do it
you a Merry Christmas.
right.
I think they should have just done the Mean Girls dance instead. But blah blah blah, these performances were terrible, but do you know who has to win? Because this is a movie, so the other guy that they introduced for no reason who doesn't speak either gets eliminated. Again, I don't know why they didn't just do like these two head to head in like a best of 5 competition. That might have been more interesting if they're directly competing against each other, but what do I know? For some reason, Laura has a revelation after this event that she is good enough.
Well, not remembered, but realized. I suddenly understand how much of my life I've spent trying to be the best, trying to win people over to prove that I was good enough. But I realized I was just trying to prove it to myself because I didn't believe it.
Even though nothing really changed and all she did was sing a horrible Christmas carol with a horrible dance. So I would say you probably should have lowered your self-esteem after this. And for the final challenge, apparently it's a Christmas tree decorating contest, but also they seem to have to plan the party that the Christmas tree contest is going to take place at. And the theme is Alpha Palooza, whatever that means. So who knows what's going on anymore? I don't know what's happening, but let's just get through the rest of this movie real quick because we still have a whole other movie to talk about. Before the party, Ben tells Jace to make a Mexican friend, I guess.
I think making friends is kind of like a box of chocolates, right? You gotta just keep eating them until you find that delicious caramel one.
And Laura reconsiders if she wants to continue in her career path. And I'm pretty sure her mom just straight up tells her like she wouldn't be proud of her if she took a break. Like I think she tells her like, why would you think I would still love you if you did that? Which is a crazy thing to say to your daughter. Probably why she's so ruthless and crazy all the time.
What if I want to stop for a while and try to find what gives my life meaning?
Then I'd be proud of you.
Would you really?
You know, I'm gonna go take these back to the girls.
Also, speaking of work, did Laura take time off for this? Because they are doing this all the time. And she is like in charge of a lot of people. So she can't just like leave for days at a time. But anyway, her mom interrogates Ben while they're playing poker and immediately forgives him because the movie's running out of time and there needs to be a reason why her mom is happy about these things at the end of the movie.
Maybe this is my chance to prove you wrong.
Please prove me wrong, Ben.
So Ben gets sent by Laura's mom to Laura's house. They're laying in front of the fire and Laura just starts spitting these mad horny lines that give Ben way too much power in their relationship. About how he always had the ability to turn her life upside down and stuff like that.
I just forgot, or I wanted to forget, what a force of nature you are. You know what I always said about you? You have the power to turn my world upside down.
I don't know if that's a healthy dynamic to have, but she seems to think it's really hot. And then Ben lets this line fly.
Man, I wish I could go back in time. Not just to set some things right, but to feel some things twice.
He's talking about her boobs there, isn't he? What really like blows my mind though is as Ben is walking out the door, Laura stops him and tells him that he's the one that got away.
Know what my mom said about you?
No, I probably don't want to.
She told me you're my great white buffalo. The one who got away.
And Ben just says nothing and leaves. And I don't know why you would say something like that to someone. Why would you give them that power over you whenever you've just started rekindling your relationship? And then he just walks out without saying anything? I don't think you can ever see him again. That's crazy. But whatever. We're almost at the end. Jace is just awesome at making friends now because Ben told him to believe in himself one time. And Ben has erectile dysfunction.
Shouldn't you be working on your tree, Benji?
I have treat block.
Sorry, tree block is what he calls it. But after helping with Jace, and again, this is the only child he's talked to really in the entire movie, Ben decides that he wants to open a non-profit. He wants to turn his baseball camp into a non-profit that works year-round to give people a place where they can practice baseball and I guess have a place where they can belong.
I have some big news I want to share with you. So you know how I've been doing this winter session camp? I have decided to turn it into a year-round sports nonprofit for kids.
Now again, he decides this based on one positive experience with Jace, and he hasn't really spoken to any of the other kids in his camp. He certainly hasn't been teaching them baseball, so who knows if he's even gonna enjoy that. But he also asked Laura to help him, and for some reason she's like considering it, even though again, they've just started rekindling their relationship after, I don't know, a couple years of not speaking, I'd imagine. 4 years before that, she felt like she was never good enough for him, and now he just comes back into her life, is not nice to her, and then kind of like tries to rekindle the old dynamic they had. And she just says, I'll consider quitting my job for you. That sounds like a good idea. So obviously, Laura tells him she has to think about it, but then she does, and she decides she does want to leave her job. She is sick of it.
So I'm resigning as COO, but I'd like to move into a consulting position if you'll have me. Well, of course we'll have you, but Laura, are you really sure? Maybe you should take some time and think this over. I know things have been hectic, but we could put a pin in this until after the holidays when things return to status quo.
And by leave her job, I mean she's stepping down as COO. The movie presents this as a big deal as she's like throwing her career away. She says, hey, like, can I just consult really just whenever I want? That would be great to just collect a paycheck whenever I need it, considering I'm like fabulously wealthy from being a C-level executive at this company for so long. There's no stakes to this because I'm sure they would have her at a very well-paying position if she just said, oh, well, this little break that I took, it didn't really pay off, so I'm back. I would like to have a job again, please, thank you. So there's no stakes here, but also before she does this, her boss asks her if she maybe wants to like take a minute and consider it. I don't know, maybe until things aren't so emotionally charged with a new romance. She should probably sleep on it a couple days. She just says, no, I'm done, I'm quitting. I'm done now, thank you. But of course, when she comes back to tell Ben the news that she's quit and is ready to help him with his project, his nonprofit, he tells her that he's actually thought about it. He says, you know what? Never mind. I don't really think I can do that.
What happens if when I come off my high and I am still just a lone wolf and I hurt you? So I'm thinking that maybe we slow our roll a little and we hold steady a while and I stick with endorsements and you stay at McLeod's and then we see what shakes out.
Ben, that would be a great option if I hadn't just quit my job this morning.
And this is why you don't quit your job for a guy you just started dating, who, again, flaked on you because he's more of a Sigma male type than one who's gonna be dependable and you can count on. So of course, Laura feels awful. She rips up all of the ornaments on Ben's tree that have them together, which again, crazy considering you've only been like back dating each other for like 3 days. I don't know why that's her only decorations on your tree. And she runs off and is very upset until her mom like completely 180s out of nowhere and says, Ashley, I don't want you to have a career. I want you to be vulnerable for Ben and marry Ben and just...
I forgot to teach you the importance of also being soft and vulnerable. Okay. Now, what are we gonna do about Ben?
Forget all that stuff I said about, like, you know, the whole immigrant story and like working hard for stuff in the country. Just forget about all that. I want you to be able to be soft and vulnerable, which, again, fair. Like, she doesn't have to be hyper competitive and super aggressive, but there's got to be some middle ground between I'm gonna be a C-suite executive and I'm gonna kill everyone in my path to get there, and I'm gonna throw all this away and just jump on this other boat with this guy that mistreated me for so long. And, you know, I've only known for a couple days. There's got to be a middle ground, but I guess this is a Hallmark movie, so there's really not. Finally, it's the last day of the contest, and in addition to the Christmas tree decorating contest, that is the 4th challenge, you also have to read your initial entry essay out to the crowd of people assembled, and I guess also to the people at home on their televisions, because this is like a TV event, but it really hasn't been like broadcast as such so far. So the host, no doubt excited for the finale of his like Christmas challenge that he's put out there, his Christmas contest that he designed. He introduces his contestants, talks about what they're gonna do, and then Laura promptly goes on the stage and says, I didn't decorate my tree because I'm not competing anymore. And also, the essay that I wrote to get myself here was BS and I didn't believe any of it. And then she goes into the same rant about how the meaning of life is fleeting and that actually people just want to add meaning to their life, before repeating the meaning of life line from the beginning of the movie.
The real question isn't, what is the meaning of life? But rather, how do I give my life more meaning? And then Christmas comes with all the answers.
Basically just saying nonsense, because again, that means nothing. But Ben obviously has to do something big to win Laura back. So what does he do? He decorated his Christmas tree and he flipped it upside down, because that's the power that she said he had over her. So that's awesome. And then he also goes on and he says, actually, my essay was BS too. I don't know how we both ended up here. And then he just asked the host, like, hey, can we both win? Can we just like get rid of the tournament that you put together? We just disregard this last event. Can we just both win the contest? And at this point, the host is just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. You've already made a mockery of this whole thing, because apparently the only reason that you're here, you didn't even really care about Christmas at all when you wrote your essays. So I don't even know what we're doing this for anymore.
Well, despite neither contestant following the rules, the Christmas contest winner is Laura and Ben.
The movie's wrapping up. Trust me, they're in love. They're believably in love, and the actors definitely have chemistry. And the writers go back to the meaning of life one more time as the movie is ending. They don't actually tell us what it is, but they finish on this final scene of the couple together.
I think I discovered the meaning of life.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You gonna tell me?
Well, I can't tell you, but I can't show you.
So you mean to tell me the meaning of life has been sex this whole time? Well, why didn't you just say so? Okay, this movie is not good. The characters are constantly bickering, and not in a cute way. Laura is very one note as the lead, and the writers just want the audience to insert whatever meaning they want to, because they couldn't be bothered to settle on one. Jace and Ben's relationship is nice, but mostly I was just waiting for this one to be over. 4 out of 10.